Welcome. We're in Orkney and it's middle of May. It's nearly 11 o'clock at night and it's still not dark. The birds haven't gone to bed yet, and I think the sheep and the ponies are talking to each other as well. So I've been thinking, with this lovely opportunity to present some of my thoughts and creative ideas and mad little things to you as part of this LASTA festival. What is it? What is it exactly that makes my heart sing? What makes my heart sparkle? What makes my heart gasp? That's what fires my music. That's what fires my imagery. And that's what interests me. And if we can all keep a little bit of that going and explore it and develop it and listen more, magic happens. So I invite you always to try and develop your own magic. Welcome. I am Karen Tweed, and in making this glimpse into my place of practice has been illuminating. I've loved playing and creating music for over 47 years, and I have drawn for several more. I see that I love small places, and within these places my practice has grown. Small spaces enable me to focus on tiny things while drifting into imagination or exploring dreams. To live in Orkney underlines the connectedness of opposites, small spaces, immense skies, music and silence, observed lines, emotive colour. It's a feeling beyond words. My music colours my drawings. My drawings can dance because of my music. And I love seeing that here.
So on the same thoughts of being inspired, just be inspired by everything. Everything, absolutely everything. Be interested in everything. If you're interested in things, don't be worried about it at all. We spend far too much time in this life worrying about other people and what they think or what we should be doing. And I heard a great quote before Christmas, which was, whatever anybody thinks of you is none of your business. So if you remember that, then it just frees you up to have lots of fun. And one of the things I have got very inspired by recently is nature, but specifically jellyfish. So this is my first jellyfish composition, and it's called The Painting of Smiles. And I love the way they move, I love the sea, and I love the colours. And there's something so immersing about that. that this is what I'm trying to immerse you in the idea of jellyfish in this. Okay, so here we go.
Listen to this. As you can see, the landscape in Orkney is very clear. You can see for miles, and it attracts an amazing amount of birds and creatures. And this is the Loons and Bank of Lochs Reserve. What an orchestra. Music's about listening. It's about sound. What more do you need? If you need inspiration, get outside. Just listen.
So I'd like to introduce Dawn Johnston, who's a great friend of mine, and we've played a lot in Orkney since I've lived here, for dancing mainly, and also we teach up in Papawestry. This was before lockdown, accordion and fiddle, and that's one of the outlying islands in the north of Orkney. But I'm just going to ask Dawn about what you think makes Orkney music quite special.
Well, Karen, I think Orkney music is very unique. It's not like music from mainland Scotland or Shetland. We've got a very different style here in Orkney. I think our style is very much more smooth and softer. If you went to the east coast of Scotland, you'd be getting a lot of 2/4 marches and things that are quite strong tempoed and lots of emphasis there, and like pipe marches and things. But here in Orkney we've got a lot more 4/4 marches and polkas, but a very different emphasis in the music. I think perhaps it's because not only do we have influences from Scotland but also from Scandinavia, as we used to many years ago belong to Norway, so our roots are very firmly in Scandinavia, and I think that comes through in our music, and perhaps as our dialect as well. It's maybe mirrored then in our music style, that kind of lilting sound that comes through.
And it's similar with the same thing with the landscape, and I had forgotten just how different the landscape is here to Shetland. I've been to Shetland quite a lot before I came to Orkney, but it's totally different, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I think Shetland is very rugged, as is the north coast of Scotland. And then Orkney is actually much more smoother. You've got the rolling hills and the landscape, and really relatively flat and very green. And I think that is, again, mirrored in the style of the music.
Absolutely, that's really good. And the thing I really love about your playing is that it's so rooted in the dance, you know, and because you are a dancer and you teach dancing, so of course it's absolutely always connected. And that whole thing where when you play for social dancing, if the dancers enjoy it, they dance better, so you play better, so they dance better, and it's just the most fantastic thing. I love playing for dancing. It's just great, isn't it?
Oh, that's it. Yeah. We play how we like to dance, don't we? So here in Orkney, we enjoy dancing fast. I grew up going to dances on one of the outer islands, Westry, and they are they've got a very distinct style and a great heritage and culture of music and dance, and they dance at quite a speed there, quite a tempo, and I really like to play how I like to dance.
Yeah, totally. And you were saying about the keys that you have the tunes in here. You know, there isn't such as a wide range of keys as there would be in other music, maybe.
Absolutely. Playing in flats was just not really heard of. Keys like B flat and E flat, not heard of in Orkney music. And I think that's because our origins are in fiddle playing. It used to be for our dances, it was just one fiddler that played for the dance. Because of that, you know, flats, playing in keys that involve flats is hard on the fiddle, whereas A, D and G are simple, you know. So all of our music really in our roots, there has obviously now a more modern, more influences from elsewhere, but our traditional music is all A, in the key of A.
And the thing I've really noticed is the lift in the music. There's a very up feel of it all the time, and I remember going to Norway a few times and thinking about the way they speak. They go up at the end of sentences, you know, so they say, how are you today? Not how are you today? You know, it's that up thing, and it's the same in the music, in all Cajun music. So there's this great lift that goes up in the two steps and the polkas, and rather than the downbeat, it's not a downbeat thing at all, it's always the up thing, isn't it?
Always the uplift. And I think that's what makes people enjoy dancing to our music, because we've got that lift that really goes along with the dancers. And I think also in our traditional music here in Orkney, it's just simple melodies. Yeah. Most of our tunes, very simple melodies. Not harmonies weren't really a thing either, which is quite unusual. We just play straight music, simple tunes, and actually in Scotland, most bands are playing, you know, 6 or 4, 6 or 8 even tunes in a set for one dance. In Orkney, they would probably just play the same tune over and over and over again.
Yeah,
you know,
there's something great about that, because you really get to know the tune. You really get inside the tune all the time. I love that.
Yep.
I really love that. But your waltzes, couldn't believe how fast you play your waltzes. I'd come back from an Irish background, and my dad used to really not like waltzes because he felt they were so slow and you couldn't get anywhere. He'd love all Cajun waltzes if he was around now. That would be right his thing. You know, they're speedy. Should we play one?
Yes.
Play one.
Yes, let's.
What are we going to play?
Jean and Andy Leonard's waltz?
Oh yeah, let's do that. So this is a tune written by the great Ian Lothian, who's a great accordion player, and he lives down in the Borders in Scotland. Okay, so here we go.
I love getting old. Sorry, getting older. It's fantastic. You don't have to worry about what people think of you or what clothes to wear or who you're hanging out with. And it's a bit like I remember when I was about 7. You just enjoyed life. You just had fun. And I do love old things, as I said. I love trees. I'm from England, obviously, living in Orkney, which isn't known for trees, except for here. And this place is called Happy Valley. And Happy Valley was inhabited by a guy called Edwin Harold. And it's in the Dale of Stenness. And he lived here from 1948. And he created this amazing glade of trees and flowers and plants. It had no mains water supply. So he built a dam and he developed his own mini hydroelectric system. And interestingly now, Orkney is one of the leading lights in eco ideas, hydroelectrics, electricity power, solar and wave power. And this place was gifted after Harold died when he was 100 to the people of Orkney so they could enjoy it and walk along it and have a quiet moment. It's free to come here. At the age of 82, this is what he said in an interview. I can't have anything modern in an old house like this, but I miss nothing. I don't envy anybody. I have none of the problems that what he referred to as modern conveniences bring. And this place, with its trees and its quietness and its brook and its stream and its stone markers to tell you what trees there are, what their names are, it helps you to touch the earth and reconnect it with your own heartbeat. Just take in the smells and the sounds. And it's in Orkney. And can hardly be seen from anywhere else. I do hope you come here. It's quite good, you know. And full of inspiration.
So the accordion, and these are some polkas. My mother was from County Kerry, Ballybunion, County Kerry actually, and so the first tunes I really learnt about were slides and polkas, Dennis and Julia Clifford and Dennis Murphy. And there's something fantastic about polkas in their simplicity. And I started doing a lot of polka set dancing and got very interested in the rhythms that happens with their feet. And I started, when I came to the Flower Art at Listowel many decades ago, and we would play outside for hours, I would meet up with two musicians, one great accordion player called Elby Grace and his friend Paul Landers. And they really taught me a lot about rhythm and tunes and playing polkas and slides. They were fantastic. So I started to really think about how to back tunes, because there weren't many piano accordion players who would play anything apart from umpa like that on the accordion bass. And I knew that that wasn't the way the dances went when you watched set dancing. There's a lot goes on with the feet, back beats and things like that. So I was trying to get into those ideas, listening to baron players and listening to lots of different musicians, guitarists particularly, and piano players who would put in different sneaky chords and sneaky rhythms. So that's kind of where my music got developed from. And I was listening a lot to pop music at the time as well. I keep going on about Stevie Wonder, but he is such an inspiration, not only from his harmony and melody, but even the kind of percussiveness that he puts in, and he would always get before a beat. It'd either be previous or slightly late to a beat, and I found that really interesting. So that's where this has come from, this kind of style of playing, I suppose. Just listen to everything. It's really important just to keep listening. And Simon Jeffries from the Penguin Cafe Orchestra, he always used to talk about we're surrounded by sound. Even silence is full of sound. That's the whole point of it. So if you listen to different sounds, whether it's a train running or your fridge or ticking of a clock, it can really inspire you to think about that sound and the sound that surrounds the sound, the silence that surrounds the sound, and what that causes. Anyway, we won't get into that. I'll just play some polkas. And you can't ever stop listening and being inspired, even when you don't know you're being inspired. First tune is from Seamus Begley. It's called The Silver Slipper. The second tune was composed by Alan Kelly from Roscommon, great piano accordion player. And then I wrote the last tune, actually in response to Alan's tune, because I loved it so much. And it's called Orlando Polecat. And it's about a cat I met in Kidderminster. So, and I've dedicated it to a friend of mine called Alan James. So. When are you most inspired? I like thinking about things like that. Usually when I've been inspired, it's been a tiny detail. Something almost not important. It's not usually been somebody giving me a lecture about something like I'm doing to you now. And when I was young, I loved everything old. I loved my old relatives chatting away. I loved their faces. I loved the way they laughed all the time. And I loved dinosaurs, and I loved stones, and I loved trees. I loved old trees. And I loved the Greeks and the Romans, and I loved the Neolithics and the cavemen. And I'm here at the Ring of Brodgar, an amazing stone circle which dates back 3 millennia BC. Imagine that. 3 millennia. And there's also at least 13 burial grounds here, Neolithic burial grounds, and they're finding more all the time. And for stones to have been there that long and been that respected not to be taken down, says something, doesn't it? That's inspiring.
it just shows you the best creativity is yet to come. That's really good to think about. Lets us off the hook.
The story behind Chown's Oak is that my uncle, Derek, on my father's side, during the war, my father's family, the children of the family, were evacuated to Northamptonshire, and my uncle Derek was evacuated to a family who were childless, and they wanted him to stay with them so that they could give him a better time in life, a better opportunity, really. And so he did stay with them, and they were the Chowns family, and they were very successful, and he seemed to have a great time there. And my family ended up moving to Northamptonshire because my dad's memories of Northamptonshire were fantastic. And then 2 years ago, there was a 400-year-old oak tree in Northamptonshire that was going to be cut down to make space for a roundabout. And there was a massive petition about it. And actually the tree was cut down and apparently was made into nice furniture. And I was appalled by this. And I was inspired by Colin Sands, who did an amazing community event, which was about the invisible tree, where he helped, along with his community, to save a very old oak forest that is in Rostrevor in the north of Ireland. So I wrote to the Highways Commission, and I also wrote to Prince Charles. And the Highways Commission said that they were more concerned with safety, despite the local outcry that this tree shouldn't be cut down. And Prince Charles's secretary wrote back to me to say that Prince Charles couldn't get involved in anything to do with highways and roads, despite his publicity about him being very interested in the environment. So I wasn't too impressed with that. So I decided to write this tune, which is about the sadness of humans who cut down nature and especially ancient trees. But there is a hope always that there will be more trees and that humans won't be quite so interested in money and roads one day. And maybe, like the XTC song, we'll have motorways full of lilies and daisies instead of cars. Thank you very, very much for watching this presentation and for listening.
And I would just like to say a very, very personal thank you to Susan and everybody at Siamsa for making this possible. A very special thanks to all of my friends in Orkney who are wonderful, and also the musicians who are featured here on this video, and also to Simon Arison, who is just a superb musician himself and has done all of the kind of video editing for this, and Eric Wilson, who's a dear friend and who's also had such patience making some of these videos with me. So thanks to everybody, and to all the inspirations everywhere.